The coronavirus is now one of the hottest topics in the United States, if not the whole world. And because for the last few weeks we've been inundated with news about coronavirus deaths around the globe, my customers have been calling me and emailing me and asking the question, will my water ionizer protect me against the coronavirus? So I thought I would make that the topic for this week's video. Hey guys, I'm Dean Snyder from Snyder Health. Welcome to this week's episode of Water Ionizer Wednesday. What I'd like to do now is first talk a bit about the coronavirus and what it is, and then talk about the role of your water ionizer when it comes to viruses like the coronavirus. So let's take a look at the coronavirus. Coronavirus is not the name of this latest virus strain, but is the name of a large family of viruses that are usually common in birds and animals, but can be transmitted to humans and can severely impact the respiratory tract, among other things. Another example of coronavirus is severe acute respiratory syndrome, better known as SARS. It's called a coronavirus because this family of viruses have spikes on their surfaces that resemble a crown, and corona is Latin for the word crown. This latest new strain of coronavirus is named COVID-19, which stands for Coronavirus Disease 19. 19 meaning 2019, the year when this particular strain was discovered. According to the CDC, the virus is contagious, and the way that the coronavirus is spread is by close contact, usually less than 6 feet, from someone who is already infected, and usually by respiratory droplets produced when an infected person coughs or sneezes. These droplets can then land in the mouths or noses of people who are nearby, or possibly be inhaled into the lungs. So the coronavirus is contagious and spreads very much like any other influenza virus. So now, getting back to the question concerning your water ionizer. The World Health Organization has determined that there is no evidence of a coronavirus spreading through the water supply. According to studies, a coronavirus has shown to become ineffective after only 2 days in non-chlorinated tap water, and when exposed to chlorine is rendered completely and permanently ineffective. So that means if you're using your water ionizer with chlorinated city-supplied tap water, there is no concern of a live virus in the water supply, whether you're using a water ionizer or not. The flu, which is a respiratory illness, has never been shown to spread from tap water, and therefore the coronavirus, which is also a respiratory illness, is not any different. Now, you might ask, what if I'm using my water ionizer with untreated well water? Well, in the unbelievably minute chance that there happens to be active viral particles in your well, coronavirus or otherwise, the virus's active lifespan would be very short. But if you're that concerned about it, then you can install a hollow membrane ultrafilter inside of your water ionizer, if one is offered by your ionizer's manufacturer, which usually has a size rating of 1/100th of a micron. The average size of a coronavirus is 125 nanometers, which is 1/8 of a micron. So therefore, a hollow membrane filter will definitely filter out those viral particles. The World Health Organization does recommend using an ultra or nano membrane filter for untreated tap water if there's any concern. But let me say something important here. If you believe that your water supply may be biologically unsafe, then you should never rely on a water ionizer, no matter what filter you have in it, to be the safety net between you and the contaminated water. I wouldn't even touch the water supply until it's been determined to be safe. Seriously, just don't use your water ionizer for a little while. You'll live. Trust me. But I do happen to have great news for water ionizer owners. According to the latest research, both influenza viruses and the coronaviruses are very sensitive to changes in pH and are known as pH-dependent viruses. While most of these viruses are stable and active at a pH of about 6, when they are introduced into a pH range between 7 and 8, depending on the viruses lose their infectivity, meaning their ability to replicate themselves, essentially dead. So as long as you're using your ionizer, even at one of its lowest alkaline levels, the virus would be rendered ineffective due to the alkalinity of the water, which proves yet another great reason to own a water ionizer. The general consensus is to reduce the effectiveness of the virus once you've been infected is to raise the alkalinity of the body. A water ionizer can definitely be one of the tools to help you achieve that goal, especially one that creates high amounts of molecular hydrogen, like my Vesta H2 ionizer that you see here. The last thing I want to mention is vitamin supplementation in case you believe that there is a possibility that you may be infected with a coronavirus, which also holds true for a flu virus. You have to understand that people don't die from the viruses themselves, they die from the complications caused by the virus. The most common being bacterial infections occurring in the lungs, like pneumonia, for example. You see, when you encounter one of these viruses, your body's immune system can go into overdrive and start producing an excessive amount of immune system cells. That can lead to something called a cytokine storm. This can lead to a surge of activated immune cells into the lungs. When that happens, the lung tissue can suffer intense inflammation and cause the lungs to become filled with fluids. Those fluids often become a breeding ground for bacteria, which could then lead to bacterial sepsis and then death. More than likely, this would happen in people that already have a compromised immune system due to other health complications that they're currently dealing with. Therefore, besides taking a good amount of vitamin C, vitamin B, vitamin E, zinc, and copious amounts of green tea or green tea extract, the major vitamin you want to focus on is vitamin D3. Besides helping to build strong bones, vitamin D3 is well known to reduce inflammation in the lungs and help the lung cells recover from infections. Therefore, if D3 targets the lungs and helps to reduce fluid retention, then the risk of dying from bacterial complications goes down dramatically. Personally, I take 10,000 IUs of vitamin D3 daily, and I've been doing that for many years. But I've seen the recommendation by experts that if you've already been infected with a coronavirus or influenza virus, then you should be taking 50,000 IUs of vitamin D3 daily to help minimize the risk of respiratory illness and death caused by those viruses. Remember, I'm not a doctor, I'm just well read, so do your own research and you'll likely come to the same conclusions. If you're interested, I'll post a link in the description below to the vitamin D3 that I take on a daily basis, as well as some of the other vitamins that I take daily for my immune system. Hopefully this information eliminates some of your fears about using your water ionizer during this coronavirus outbreak. I'll go ahead and post a link in the description area below to the World Health Organization document referenced in this video so you can take a look at it. Also, if you enjoyed this video, please go ahead and hit that like button and let me know in the comment section below if you have any specific questions about the coronavirus or any general questions about using your water ionizer. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any future episodes of Water Ionizer Wednesday. You can subscribe to the channel by clicking on this big round button right here, and you can watch other Water Ionizer Wednesday videos by clicking on either one of those right over there. Until next time, stay healthy, eat nutritious food, take your vitamins daily, drink lots of alkaline water, and don't freak out about the coronavirus. Be proactive, not reactive. See you next week.